comes a moment in your life, quiet, invisible, almost easy to ignore, when everything you've been working toward is closer than it has ever been, and yet it feels like it's slipping through your fingers. Not because you're not capable, not because you're not worthy, but because you're tired. Tired of trying, tired of waiting, tired of giving your all and seeing so little in return. And in that moment, your mind begins to whisper something dangerous. Maybe this isn't for you. That maybe it's time to stop. Maybe you've gone as far as you can go. But what if I told you that moment right there, that exact moment when everything inside you wants to quit, is the moment that separates the people who almost made it from the ones who did? Because success, real success, is never built at the beginning. It's not built when you're excited. It's not built when you're motivated. It's built in the silent battles when nobody's watching, when nothing feels certain, when quitting feels justified. That's where it lives. And right now, you are standing at the edge of something greater than you can see. You're closer than you think, but closeness is deceptive. Because when you're close, the weight gets heavier, the resistance gets stronger, the doubts get louder. That's not a sign to stop. That's a sign that something is about to break, and it's not you, it's the barrier that's been holding you back. See, people love to talk about beginnings. They celebrate the idea of starting, but nobody warns you about the middle. The middle is where dreams go to die, not because they weren't real, but because they weren't protected. Because in the middle, there's no applause, there's no recognition, there's no guarantee, just work, relentless, repetitive, exhausting work. This is where most people fold. This is where they trade their vision for comfort, their purpose for convenience, their potential for excuses, but not you. You didn't come this far to stand in the middle and question your worth. You didn't sacrifice sleep, energy, peace, and certainty just to turn around now. There's a reason you started, not a surface level reason, not something small, something deeper, something that kept you awake at night. Something that made you believe even when you had no proof that there was more waiting for you on the other side of fear. That reason didn't disappear. You just got distracted by the difficulty. Understand this difficulty is not a dead end. Difficulty is a filter designed to test how badly you want what you said you wanted. And right now, life is asking you a question, not with words, but with pressure. Are you serious or are you just interested? Because when you're interested, you show up when it's easy. When you're serious, you show up when it hurts. And right now it hurts. Good. That means you're in the right place. Because nothing valuable comes without resistance. Think about it. Every breakthrough in history came wrapped in struggle. When Thomas Edison was trying to invent the light bulb, he didn't fail once or twice, he failed thousands of times. And every failure wasn't a sign to stop it, was a step closer to understanding what would work. When Abraham Lincoln faced rejection after rejection, losing elections, facing criticism, enduring personal loss, he didn't see those moments as the end of his story. He saw them as part of it. When Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity, when Henry Ford was told his ideas wouldn't work, when Andrew Carnegie rose from poverty to build an empire, none of them quit in the middle because they understood something most people never do. The moment you feel like quitting is often the moment right before everything changes. But change doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who push. Push when it's hard. Push when it's unclear. Push when every part of you wants to stop. Because the truth is, you don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You don't need someone else to believe. And you need to decide. Decide that quitting is no longer an option. Decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you have to start over, you will not stop. Because winners aren't the most talented. They're the most committed. They're the ones who stay when everyone else leaves. They're the ones who keep going when progress is invisible. They're the ones who understand that success isn't a straight line, it's a storm. And storms don't last forever, but you have to outlast them. Right now, you're in that storm. The winds are strong, the path is unclear, and it feels like everything is working against you. But storms don't come to destroy you. They come to reveal you, to strip away your excuses, to test your discipline, to force you to grow into the person your goals require. Because the version of you that started this journey isn't the version of you that will finish it. That version has to be built, forged through pressure, strengthened through struggle, defined by resilience. And that process is not comfortable. It's not quick, but it's necessary. Because if success came easy, you wouldn't value it. If growth didn't hurt you, wouldn't you respect it? And if the path was clear, you wouldn't become who you're meant to be. So don't run from the difficulty. Lean into it. Because every challenge you're facing right now is shaping you. Every obstacle is preparing you. Every setback is teaching you something you'll need when you finally reach that next level. And you will reach it, not by luck, not by chance, but by persistence, by refusing to quit when it would be easier to walk away, by choosing discipline over comfort again and again and again. Because discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. And motivation will disappear. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. Days when the results don't match the effort. Days when doubt creeps in and tries to convince you that all of this is pointless. But those are the days that matter most. Because anyone can work when they feel good. But champions, they work when they don't. They show up when it's inconvenient. They push when it's uncomfortable. They keep going when there's no immediate reward. Because they understand something powerful. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. Not overnight, not instantly, but inevitably. And right now, you might not see the results you want. That doesn't mean they're not coming. It means they're building under the surface in ways you can't measure yet, in ways you can't see yet, but they're there. And if you quit now, you'll never get to experience what all of this effort was leading to. You'll never know how close you were. And that is a different kind of pain. The pain of regret, the pain of what if, the pain of knowing you stopped, not because you had to, but because it got hard. Don't carry that. Don't let this story end like that, because you're not finished, not even close. You're in the middle of becoming something greater than you've ever been. And the only thing standing between you and that version of yourself is the decision you make right now. Do you quit or do you continue? Because continuing doesn't require perfection. It requires courage. Courage to take another step when you're exhausted. Courage to believe in yourself when doubt is louder than confidence. Courage to keep going without guarantees. And that courage, it's already inside you. You've proven it. Every time you didn't give up before this moment, you proved it. Every obstacle you've already overcome, you proved it. Every sacrifice you've already made, you proved it. So why stop now? Why walk away when you've already come this far? Why let temporary pain convince you to abandon permanent potential? You're closer than you think. Closer to the breakthrough. Closer to the opportunity. Closer to the version of your life you've been fighting for. But closeness requires one thing most people aren't willing to give: patience. Not passive waiting, but active endurance. The kind where you keep working even when the timeline doesn't match your expectations. The kind where you trust the process even when the process tests you. Because success doesn't operate on your schedule. It operates on your consistency. And if you stay consistent, if you refuse to quit, you will get there. Not maybe, not possibly. You will. Because persistence is undefeated. It doesn't matter how slow you move as long as you don't stop. And right now, you don't need to sprint. You just need to take one more step, one more effort, one more attempt, one more day of refusing to give up. That's it. Because those one mores, they add up. They build momentum. They create breakthroughs. And eventually, they change everything. So take that step, even if it's small, even if it feels insignificant. Because progress is progress. And every step forward is a step away from the life you're trying to leave behind. You didn't come this far to stay the same. You came this far to grow, to evolve, to become. And becoming takes time. It takes effort. It takes resilience. But most importantly, it takes commitment. A decision that no matter what happens, you will not quit. Not today, not tomorrow, not when it gets hard, not when it gets uncomfortable. Not when it feels impossible, because impossible is just a feeling. It's not a fact. And feelings, they change, but decisions, they define you. So decide right here, right now, that you're not done, that this journey isn't over, that no matter how difficult it gets, you will keep going because you're closer than you think. And if you quit now, you'll never know just how close you really were, because Here's the truth. Nobody tells you when you first start chasing something meaningful, the closer you get, the quieter it becomes. At the beginning, there's noise, excitement, validation, energy. People notice when you start, but they don't stay to watch you finish. Because finishing, that's lonely. That's where the real test begins. When the crowd disappears, when the support fades, when the only voice left is the one inside your head, what does it say? Does it build you or does it break you? Because at this level, it's not about talent anymore. It's not about luck, connections, or perfect timing. It's about control. Control over your thoughts, control over your emotions, control over your actions. When everything inside you is screaming to stop. And most people, they lose control right here. They let doubt take over. They let fear dictate their decisions. They let temporary emotions destroy long-term goals. But you can't afford that. Not now. Not when you've invested this much of yourself into something bigger than comfort. You have to become disciplined in your thinking, because your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. There is no middle ground. If you feed it fear, it will create excuses. If you feed it belief, it will create solutions. So the question isn't, is this possible? The question is, what are you choosing to believe? Because belief is where everything begins. Before anything exists in reality, it exists in your mind. Every invention, every empire, every breakthrough, it started as an idea that someone refused to let die. And right now you're holding on to an idea, a vision, a version of your life that doesn't exist yet, but feels real enough. A chase. That's not random. That's not coincidence. That's purpose knocking. But purpose doesn't beg. It doesn't force itself in your life. It waits. It waits to see if you're willing to endure the process required to bring it to life. And the process, it will test you in ways you didn't expect. It will stretch you. It will break your comfort. It will expose your weaknesses, not to destroy you, but to refine you. Because you cannot step into a bigger life with a smaller mindset. You cannot carry massive success with fragile discipline. So everything you're going through right now, it's preparation. You're being built piece by piece into someone who can handle what you ask for. But building takes time. And time is where most people lose patience. They want results now. They want clarity now. They want proof now. But life doesn't work like that. There is always a gap between effort and reward. And that gap, that silent space where nothing seems to be happening, that's where faith lies. Not blind faith, earned faith. The kind that says, I may not see it yet, but I trust what I'm becoming. And trust is powerful. Because when you trust the process, you stop needing constant validation. You stop questioning every step. You stop looking for shortcuts, and you start moving with certainty. Not because the path is clear, but because your commitment is. That's what separates those who finish from those who fade away. Certainty and uncertainty. The ability to keep going even when you don't know exactly how it's going to work out. Because you've decided that quitting is not part of your story. And when that decision becomes real, everything changes. Your energy changes. Your focus sharpens. Your actions become intentional. You stop dabbling and you start dominating. You stop hesitating and you start executing. Because you realize something most people never fully understand. Clarity doesn't come before action. Clarity comes from action. You don't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it, step by step, move by move, even when it's messy, even when it's imperfect. Because perfection is just procrastination in disguise. And you don't have time to wait for perfect. You have to move with what you have, where you are right now. That's how momentum is created. And momentum is everything, because once you build it, it carries you. It makes hard things easier. It makes impossible things feel achievable. But getting there, that first push, that's on you. No one can do that for you. No one can give you that drive. It has to come from within. From that place deep inside you that refuses to settle, that refuses to accept average, that refuses to give up on the life you know you're capable of living. That fire, that's your responsibility. Protect it, feed it, strengthen it, because the world will try to dim it. It will throw distractions at you. It will offer you comfort in exchange for your ambition. It will tempt you to choose easy over meaningful. And if you're not careful, you'll take it. You'll convince yourself that slowing down is okay, that settling is safe, that maybe this is good enough. But good enough is the enemy of greatness. And you weren't built for average. You feel it. That restlessness, that desire for more, that refusal to accept a life that doesn't challenge you. That's not a flaw. That's your calling. But a calling without action is just a wish. So you have to act even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because comfort is where dreams go to sleep. And you didn't come this far to fall asleep on your own potential. You came to wake it up, to push it, to stretch it beyond what feels normal. Because normal won't get you where you want to go. Normal keeps you stuck. Normal keeps you safe. Normal keeps you invisible. And you're not here to be invisible. You're here to create something, to build something, to become something. And becoming requires transformation. It requires letting go of who you were to step into who you need to be. That means changing your habits, changing your environment, changing your standards. Because your current results are a reflection of your current standards. And if you want more, you have to demand more from yourself, not someday. Now, raise your standards in how you think, in how you work, in how you show up when nobody's watching. Because who you are in private determines who you become in public. And success is not built in front of people. It's built in the unseen hours, the early mornings, the late nights, the moments when you choose discipline over distraction. That's where the foundation is laid, brick by brick, day by day. And it's not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's demanding. It's exhausting, but it's necessary. Because there is no shortcut to something that matters. No hack, no quick fix, no easy way out. Only work, focused, intentional, consistent work. And right now you have a choice. You can see that as a burden, or you can see it as an opportunity to separate yourself. Because while others are quitting, you're continuing. While others are doubting, you're deciding. While others are waiting, you're working. And that difference over time becomes everything. It becomes the gap between where you are and where you could be. And that gap is closing with every step you take, with every moment you refuse to give up, with every time you choose growth over comfort. You are getting closer, closer than you were yesterday, closer than you were last week, closer than you were when you first started, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if the progress isn't obvious, even if the results aren't visible yet. Because progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's internal. Sometimes it's happening in ways you don't immediately recognize, but it's there. And one day, all of it, the effort, the sacrifice, the persistence, it's going. The show, not gradually, but suddenly like a breakthrough that was building all along. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. It wasn't that you were far away. It was that you were closer than you thought. And the only reason you made it is because you didn't quit. Because at the end of the day, this was never just about success. It was never just about money, recognition, status, or proving something to the world. This is about you, about who you become in the process. Because one day, whether you reach every goal or not, you're going to be left with something far more important than the outcome. You're going to be left with your identity, the person you built, the discipline you earned, the mindset you forged, the resilience you developed when life tried to break you in. You refused to stay down. That's what this journey is really about. And right now, you're in the middle of becoming that person. Not the old version of you that hesitated, not the version that doubted every step, not the version that waited for the right time. That version is fading, and a new version is being created. A version that moves with purpose, that acts with conviction, that doesn't need permission to chase what it wants. But here's the truth. That version of you doesn't appear overnight. It's earned in moments like this. Moments where quitting feels logical, moments where stopping feels justified, moments where nobody would blame you for walking away, but you don't. You stay, you fight, you push, even when it feels like you're running on empty, because something inside you knows this is not the end of your story. This is the part where most people give up. And if you can just hold on just a little longer, just one more step beyond where it hurts, you will separate yourself from everyone who stopped too soon. That's the difference. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's endurance. The ability to keep going when the reward is not immediate. The ability to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. The ability to believe when there is no evidence yet. That's what makes you unstoppable. And understand this clearly, you don't need to feel unstoppable to become unstoppable. You just need to act. Action creates confidence. Action creates clarity. Action creates results. And results, they reinforce belief. It's a cycle, but it starts with movement. So move, even if it's slow, even if it's uncertain, even if it's uncomfortable, because staying still, that's the only real failure. And you're not here to fail. You're here to rise above your excuses, to rise above your fears, to rise above every limitation you once believed was permanent, because none of it is permanent. Not the struggle, not the pain, not the uncertainty. All of it is temporary. But what you build through it, that lasts. That becomes part of you. And that's why you cannot quit. Not now. Not when you've come this far. Not when you've already proven over and over again that you're capable of more than you once believed. Think about everything you've already survived. Every obstacle, every setback, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it 10, somehow you did. That wasn't luck. That was strength. Strength you didn't even know you had. And if you've made it through all of that, what makes you think you can't make it through this? This is just another chapter, another test, another opportunity to prove to you yourself that you are not someone who quits when it gets hard. You are someone who adapts, who learns, who grows stronger under pressure. Because pressure, it doesn't break you, it reveals you. And right now, it's revealing something powerful. It's revealing that you're still here, still trying, still pushing, still refusing to give up. And that alone puts you ahead of more people than you realize. Because most people don't make it this far. They stop at discomfort. They stop at doubt. They stop when things don't go their way. But you did it. You kept going. And that means something. It means you're built differently. It means you have what it takes. But having potential is not enough. You have to execute relentlessly, consistently, without waiting for the perfect moment. Because the perfect moment doesn't exist. There is only now. This moment, this decision, this opportunity to either step forward or step back. And stepping back, it's easy, it's comfortable, it's safe, but it comes with a cost. The cost of unrealized potential, the cost of unfinished dreams, the cost of always wondering, what if I had just kept going? Don't pay that price. It's too expensive. Instead, step forward into the discomfort, into the uncertainty, into the version of your life that requires more from you, because more is what you're capable of. More discipline, more focus, more resilience, more growth. And every time you choose more, you move closer to the breakthrough, closer to the life you've been chasing, closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. And one day you're going to look back at this moment, this exact moment where quitting felt like the easiest option. And you're going to be grateful that you did it, because everything changed after this. Not instantly, not magically, but gradually, consistently, powerfully. Because you made a decision to keep going, a decision to believe when it was hard, a decision to show up again and again until the results had no choice but to follow. And when that day comes, when the doors finally open, when the opportunities start appearing, when the results begin to reflect the effort you put in, it won't feel like luck. It will feel earned, because you'll remember the nights nobody saw, the work nobody applauded, the sacrifices nobody understood. You'll remember what it took to get there, and that's what makes it meaningful. That's what makes it yours. So don't quit. Not when you're tired, not when you're frustrated, not when it feels like nothing is working, because something is working. You're evolving, you're growing, you're becoming stronger, sharper, more focused with every step you take, even when it doesn't feel like it. And that growth that's leading somewhere bigger than your current circumstances, somewhere beyond your current limits. But you have to keep moving to get there. You have to stay committed. You have to trust that everything you're doing right now is building something, because it is, even if you can't see it yet. So hold the line, stay in the fight, dig deeper than you ever have before, because the version of you on the other side of this, the one who didn't quit, the one who kept going, the one who pushed past every excuse, every doubt, every fear, that version of you is waiting for you to arrive. And the only way you get there is if you refuse to stop right here, right now. This is your moment, not to start, but to continue, to push beyond what feels possible, to prove to yourself that you are capable of finishing what you started, because you are. You've always been. You just needed a moment like this to realize it. So take one more step, just one, and then another and another, until quitting is no longer even a thought. It's just something you used to consider before you decided who you really are. You are not someone who gives up. You are not someone who settles. You are not someone who stops when it gets hard. You are someone who endures, who adapts, who overcomes, and who finishes no matter what, because you're closer than you think. And this time, you're not turning back.